We will ask that we begin our moment of silence, and hopefully we will hear the chapel bells as we welcome you to Liberation and Freedom Day here at the University of Virginia. As we wait, we can open our hearts and minds and focus on peace, peace in our nation, our community, here at our university on grounds, for unification, for understanding, for liberation, and for freedom. I'm going to ask my alpha brother if you would go to the side doors and just see if you can open those and maybe we could hear them. Is it after 12 already? Okay. So we thank you all for your time. I do apologize that we could not hear the bells. I'd like to start by acknowledging this wonderful day. I thank you all for your presence here today. And with each tour that we give at the Memorial to Enslaved Laborers, it is not simply a tour, but it is an experience. So we pray that you have the same comforting, family, holistic experience here in the ballroom today. We start each tour and each time that we're at the memorial with the land acknowledgement, which I will read for you today. We acknowledge that the land where we live, learn, and work is the ancestral homeland and traditional territory of the Monacan Indian Nation, who have been here since time immemorial. We pay respect to their elders and acknowledge keepers, past, present, and emerging. We also acknowledge and pay respect to the enslaved and free Black laborers who built UVA and their descendants. It is from the profits of their stolen labor, knowledge, and lives, and the dispossession of indigenous land upon which the university and this area have been developed. Today, we acknowledge the land, We acknowledge labor and knowledge, and we acknowledge lives. At this time, I will introduce and give the microphone over to Lily Williams, who is a member of Chihamba. She will introduce the dance.
Good morning, good afternoon. First of all, we always are so honored to be a part of this, and we are very proud to be a part of this day. We are Chihamba. We have been in Charlottesville for quite a few years, over 30 years, and we're part of the African American Cultural Arts Festival. So today we're going to bring celebration to you. We're going to start off with a drum call. Drum call is that to let you know that something is happening, something special is happening. Then we're going to have a harvest rhythm. And then we're going to have a little bit of a break. And then after that break, we're going to come back and do another dance, which I'll explain to you. But to let you know, I always need help dancing. It's just a way of saying how much we love each other. Somebody over here told me, I said hello, and she said, I love you. I said, wow. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. So we love each other, so I'm going to come and get some people to come up and dance with me, if you don't mind.
Welcome. I want to say welcome to everyone and thank you for coming. My name is Colleen Yates, and I'm one of the 9 founding members of a special nonprofit, the Descendants of Enslaved Communities at the University of Virginia. Our mission is to research and reclaim the narrative to honor the legacy of the enslaved and free Black communities and their descendants, and to achieve restorative justice for communities rooted at the University of Virginia and surrounding regions. Why are we here today? It is Liberation and Freedom Day. Liberation and Freedom Day is a municipal holiday in Charlottesville, celebrated on March 3rd to commemorate the day in 1865 when Union Major General Philip Sheridan and his troops arrived in Charlottesville, liberating over 14,000 enslaved people. So, as they would say, sit back, relax, and enjoy the wonderful program we have for you. And please welcome back Chihamba and Lily Williams.
Is of the spirit that think we can get better than that. One more round of applause for Chihamba. Thank you all so much. What a pleasure that was, and what a celebration. My name is Jessica Harris, and I'm the interim co-chair of the Descendants of Enslaved Communities at UVA. Welcome to our celebration today. While we are certainly disappointed to not be at the Memorial to Enslaved Laborers, we could not be more thrilled that you were able to join us today in Newcomb Hall. And we want to encourage some reflection, and I want you all to connect in many ways to the memorial. So we have next in our program a poem that was written by a student when the memorial was dedicated. It's called My Serpentine, written by Jayla Hart, and I'm thrilled to read it for you today. My Serpentine. You are the garden snake that slithers through freshly plowed lawn, wrapping yourself round my swollen ankles, trailing up my spine till I have no choice but to kneel. My serpentine, you see the way my aching hands bleed, cracked skin faithfully stacking cracked brick under a sweltering southern sun. My serpentine, tonight I scrub the crinkled stone walls clean, wipe off the venom before it stains my skin, let my tears water the trees that loan me shade. When did time become cemented between these bricks? My serpentine, forgive me for overstepping unmarked boundaries, for stepping all over these bountiful gardens, pavilions that leave you perched above me in a sickening silence that swells in my ear. Hear the names of my brothers and sisters echoing down from pristine balconies. The crack of your whip meets the click of our tongues. Our languages remain foreign to one another. My serpentine, you changed your colors with the seasons, turned your Confederate cardinal red to orange and blue, kept your hatred tucked inside my courts and curls. Now you see some secrets simply must unfurl and topple the way Kitty Foster's home did, left in the shadows while your rotunda was rebuilt. Such recklessness reigning from those called rational. The consequences of your actions are far from factional. My serpentine, you swallow my freedom, then spit on my status. See me as nothing short of an orifice only for your pleasure. My pain penned as impossible in this bruised body. Banal in humanity, I stripped of dignity and deprived of a name. How you locked your eroding gates to any woman with a dream determined on her own terms. Deny Alice Jackson entry to your bastion of intellect, her rejection rooted in your long-established hubris. My serpentine, must Swanson sue you to gain your attention? Use your laws, your language, until you bite your own tongue. Crouch between your colonnades, quoting Jefferson, until the contradictions catch you off guard. Catch you idle as my humanity is threatened. Catch you silent as my community is displaced. Catch you indifferent as my story is erased. Watch how quickly you craft the next excuse. When did hate become cemented between these bricks? My serpentine, your fang marks stay swollen on my chest, trying to suck the life out of our families, trying to suck the soul out of our names, trying to suck the truth out of our histories. When I shout for justice, you cry for understanding. Your hot breath fogs up windows until I am invisible. When I demand change, you question my legitimacy. Pretend I speak of myths. Boy, check your white fragility. My serpentine, I see you, fierce eyes, scales, and all. You cannot shed yourself of me, my body, my being. My serpentine, I built you. Winding curves, cracks, and all. You cannot see yourself without me. My body, my being. My serpentine, I write you down and capture myself. I tear you down and free myself. Thank you. Again, that poem was written by Jayla Hart, and we are grateful that she let us share that today. It's in reference to the serpentine walls that you would have seen had you been at the memorial site behind those pavilion gardens. Now I want to turn, and I'm getting ready to announce and introduce our special guests, but I want to, again, hearken us back to the memorial. And how many folks here have been able to see the memorial before? Wonderful, that is fantastic. So as you recall, that memorial is in the shape of a ring, and it's designed to hearken back to the ring shout, which is why we're so thrilled to have our ring shouters here with us today. The ring shout, for those who don't know, and I'm sure we will hear from our guests today more about this, but the ring shout is a powerful religious ritual first practiced by African slaves in the West Indies and subsequently the United States, in which worshipers move in a circle while celebrating through dance, shouts, and percussion. So again, with its shape inspired by the ring shout and ecstatic dance that celebrates and anticipates spiritual liberation, the memorial forms two concentric rings nested in the sloping landscape that you see there. This ring shout symbolizes celebration and liberation, and on Liberation and Freedom Day, it is important to celebrate this tradition, and is why the ring shouters are here today. So now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guests. The Geechee Gullah ring shouters are internationally known for their unique historical and educational performance and have performed throughout America and on foreign soil in places like Canada with a 3-day tour. A unique cultural and folklore experience that includes the ring shout connection to Africa and the former enslaved plantations in America, their language, dialect, and the Gullah Geechee foodways. They give information concerning their cultural storytelling, the root worker, root doctor, and other rituals, as well as their medicine and herbal practices. The cultural performance you will see will give you a chance to laugh, think, learn, and experience moments of sadness and moments of great joy. They're one of the most called upon Gullah Geechee ring shout group in America and the world, in particular to motion pictures, the new Hollywood Roots movie, cultural festivals, documentaries, BBC Worldwide News, CNN International News, public broadcasting documentaries, and most recently with the Netflix international television program High on the Hog. They continually work with the International African American Museum out of Charleston, South Carolina, and the National African American Museum out of Washington, D.C. The ring shouters have given performances to their smallest crowd of about 15 individuals to their largest crowd, in-person crowd of over 250,000 individuals, and even a television audience of 3 million. So I'd say we're almost there. The Geechee Gullah ring shouters are currently working with local and internationally acclaimed organizations and festivals, and their next stop internationally is Africa. All right, without further ado, we present to you the internationally known Geechee Gullah ring shouters. Thank you.
Thank you. We're certainly glad to be here. One of the unique things that we will mention as we begin is the fact that every member of this group are not just cultural art performers. They trace their ancestral roots, and they all 100% what we call Gullah Geechee. And we are going to explain what that means as we present this unique performance. One song that perhaps every one of you know, and over 1 billion people in the world know, but most people don't know, that it originated from a Gullah Geechee some many years ago. And we're going to give you the real version of the song. You know it as Kumbaya. Others know it as Come By Here from the church. But the real words in the beginning was Come By Ya. Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Oh, Lord, Kumbaya. Come by here. Come by here, my Lord. Come by here. Come by here, my Lord. Come by here. Come by here, my Lord. Come by here. Oh, Lord, come by here. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Oh, Lord, Kumbaya. Come by ya. Come by ya, my Lord. Come by ya. Come by ya, my Lord. Come by ya. Come by ya, my Lord. Come by ya. Oh, Lord. Come
And see if I can that self-same hour, the wave ceases to roll. The platinum start rolling, the lightning start flashing. I don't know. We were out to go to Sierra Leone, y'all. Could have been a hurricane that passed through. I don't know. But John made a few more trips to Mother Africa, bringing back precious time. Then one night, on a ship called the Greyhound, John was on his way to Newcomb, England. And he got converted. And began to think about what he was doing. Yes. And John thought about that thing. And John began to study the word. Then John said, let me have to come and preach this word. And John tried 3 times to be ordained and become a Baptist minister. Once for the Father, once for the Son, and one for the precious Holy Ghost. On the 3rd try, he was ordained. Now John get a message. Pastor John, I want you to bring the new teachers. Only thing John can think about is grace God. John picked up the pen and began to write the sermon. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saves a wretch like me. John preached the sermon, y'all. He preached the sermon. And somebody said, John, that sermon you got to live on. They put music to the words of the song. We sing Amazing Grace. We are thinking about these because we know that the grace of God could save a sinner like John Newcomb. Don't you know the grace of God can save all of us? So that's why we sing Amazing Grace. Beautiful song. Song that waves. Song that heals. Song that listens. Song by the Geechee Gullah Roots out. We call it I bet y'all know. These are the most beautiful songs. Amazing Grace. Join me.
Praise God, 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 praise God. How will be all day?
How are you doing?
Oh, Lord, I'm not saying, Lord have mercy. We already missed y'all. How will be all day? How are you doing out there? Okay, that sound better. All right, now I know that some of y'all know the more word like that. Yeah, I come up a long time ago. Yeah, I almost 37. Yeah, right? It's 37. Yeah, I'm almost 47. Yeah, but you know one thing? We on Sunday morning, we get up and we go to our various churches. And we walk outside the church after service and we say, oh, honey, how about that religion? And you know now what we say, we've gotten so what, Margie? Modern mystical, y'all remember that word. And we say, oh, honey, it's just so sweet. We ain't got time to say them like that. We say, how about that religion? 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 Shout that religion! Shout that religion! Shout that religion! Shout that religion! Go tell everybody about that religion! Make me happy! Make me happy! Rock that religion! Rock that religion! Rock that religion! Rock that religion! Go tell everybody about that religion! wrong foot, yeah. We done started from the wrong foot. Because you know one thing, yeah? These people ain't know how come it's talking as is. Can you tell? All right.
Education is what we teach.
Heritage, that's again what we preach. But hatred is not what we teach. We want our young folks to know that once upon a time, we had a language all our own. Education. When we came from Mother Africa, we were placed on different plantations, even in different tribes. And us had to learn how to communicate. Us had to learn how to communicate with one another. So we formed our own language. We picked up some words from Master, and then us put them together, and us getting work that thing. Yeah, every now and then, we us go down yonder to the market, where us come from, us get together, and us speak our language. We call them the we language, the us language.
What you say?
The little clocks look at us and just shake their head.
Yeah.
There's some country folks here, we know this is your language. I remember like yesterday.
I remember like it was yesterday.
When I first go to school.
When I first went to school.
You know what that night for?
This is what I did the night before.
I heard y'all to the shift room.
I went to the dresser.
And I hit with frocks.
I got my dress.
Brought them out to the front room.
Brought it to the living room.
And laid them on the lounge
Laid it
chair.
on the sofa.
And the bottom had the bitches and go back. It was right there.
His pants and his boots was right there.
And 40.
Early in the
I
morning.
get up.
I got up.
And I heisted in.
I raised the window.
And then I walked out on the
I
piazza.
walked out on the porch.
See my great grandma. I said, wonderful be.
How you
I
doing?
said, my jank to hurt me.
My joints hurt.
Wonderful do I said.
What are you doing out here?
Is it even ration?
I'm eating my
Is
food.
it wonderful go?
Where are you going?
I said, going down yonder to the schoolhouse.
Did so?
I left the kid.
I left the house.
Walked out in the yard.
In the
I
yard.
said, in the cab.
We didn't have a car.
And then in the cutter, be creeping from the yard.
A turtle crawling across the
And I stayed, I go in there to the schoolhouse yard in the yard room. And I seen a whole bunch of children, and they all been in one room.
The children was in one classroom.
And they had two women to teach them.
Had two women teaching them.
One just started running down.
One was a little heavy and one was a little skinny.
Yeah. Everybody been in the same room, the scamp, the scoundrel.
A little bad boy and a big one.
And then Gab, look here. I seen this plump little Gab. Had a hand on the kid.
She was fat, no doubt.
Had a hand on the kid.
On her hip.
Yeah. And I said, I go like the kid.
Your house.
Then I get the first thing you say.
First thing.
It said, go yonder to the ice box
To the refrigerator.
and get yourself a belly washer, soda water.
A soft drink.
They get the yard room.
The rake.
Go out yonder and sweep that yard.
And rake the
Now
yard.
listen, I said giant.
Joint.
I said pint.
Point.
I said giant.
Joint.
I said go on.
Going.
What happened?
That old went to play basketball, of course.
I said yeah.
Yard.
I said cat.
Car.
I said lad.
Lard.
What happened?
That hour took that leg and ran. Couldn't announce him anyway.
You see, they say we were speaking about it.
And not so.
Bad English.
Not so.
Broken English. But listen now. There was a method to the madness.
Yes, sir.
And all we had to do was think about it. F-O came before I.
That's right.
They did not pronounce
Three
the
at a
O.
time.
Joint giant.
Joint.
Point pint.
Uh-huh.
F-A came before R.
Uh-huh.
They did not pronounce the R.
Okay.
Car. Car. Yard. Yeah.
Yeah.
In some communities where we come from, they still say things like that.
That's right.
Every now and then they say, disher and that day.
That's right.
Disher,
Indeed.
yeah. The D will take the place of the T and the H.
Right.
A famous celebrity, once upon a time, I heard him, Jan. I heard him
Say
say,
that.
I've been down yonder with mama and them.
That's Steve Harvey there.
Oh, yeah, that he
Steve Harvey said.
don't tell him I said he said that.
Yeah, he said
But he said it one time. I heard it.
Yeah.
I heard him just like I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
Now listen. Deja is the program lesson.
Their boots, yeah.
Now look here. We dress this year way for form and fashion. To show you.
That's right.
But Master gives us
He
7,
gave them to
and
us.
us been working in the swamp and in the field, and he gives us 7, and us stood inside 9. Yeah.
Packer and Pibby couldn't read them anyway.
Opposite.
You call your toes up and take them.
And what we do, we thank him.
Thank him.
And the reason we say thank him, because we want our young folks to know survival is the name of the game.
That's right.
You got to grow up. I tell my children, they're out now. You got to grow up to grow old.
That's right.
It is better to be seen than viewed. I tell you, it's better to be talked about, talked to, than talked about.
That's right.
So that is why we travel, letting them know that they got to learn how to survive. Grandma, grandpa, say you got to swallow when you want to spit.
That's right.
We have taught our children to swallow rather than spit.
You better say it.
Sometimes the popo will get you.
The police coming.
Swallow.
Uh-huh.
Where we live, there are some areas where there is no cell phone.
No, none
The
talk.
tower, it just don't reach there.
No work.
Dark as 10 midnights, no street light.
Phone don't work.
From the areas that we live in, all of them. So when the popo rolled on,
Police
I have
coming.
taught my children, I taught them, survive, baby.
That's right.
Grandma said, you want to swallow?
Uh-huh.
Then you want to spit.
What you say?
Start swallowing.
Uh-huh.
When Mr. Popos pull up on you,
Yeah.
'cause they ain't got no respect for videos now. They hide behind trees.
Anyway,
They hide behind churches.
all over the place.
And this is the truth. So we tell them. Only because us is all church folks here. On one occasion, y'all pulled the cuss. When the popo pull you over, you can tell whether you had a good day, this is the truth, or a bad day.
Yeah.
Boy, why you speeding? Bad day.
Okay.
Go into dialect.
That's right.
Mama done touch it, boy, you got to survive. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Come on, man.
What I do? I didn't speed. You swallow. Swallow real hard.
You don't give me a ticket?
Yeah, you don't give me a ticket? So, if you don't give it to me, give it to me.
Right?
I ain't got no money. You see, I ain't got no money. Swallowing. Grandma, grandpa, my daddy, and auntie, all us gonna be young until the courthouse come Monday morning.
Monday
and us is gonna pay the ticket.
That's right.
Over 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, us is gonna be there 7 o'clock. You swallowing.
That's right.
And he gonna give you that ticket.
What you
You
say?
gonna thank him for it? Come on, we tell him thank you. Tell him thank you. Take the ticket. Get back in your cab.
Uh-huh.
And then look in your rearview mirror. And I told him, now y'all can cuss.
Yeah.
When you see his light,
Uh-huh.
backlight, step out.
Yes, sir.
And it's time, I
Your
told my
time
children,
now.
it's time to start spitting.
You better say it.
Cuss him out.
Everybody.
Cuss him, because you got, grandma said you got the same face.
Yeah.
Cuss him out.
Everybody.
But you know what? You still living.
Uh-huh.
Cuss him out.
That's right.
Cuss his mama out.
Everybody.
Cuss, you see down south, we teach our children. Cuss them out.
Everybody.
Tell them all, everybody.
That's
if you
right.
think he got a preacher, really cuss him out.
Because everybody.
Cuss him out.
Everybody.
Because you got to learn how to swallow,
What
and
you
you got
say?
to learn how to spit.
got to spit,
Because
man.
we gonna keep our children alive.
Uh-huh.
And if that's the only way we can keep them alive,
Yeah.
teach them to swallow, y'all.
Come on, man.
Yeah, and then learn how to spit, man.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, let me, I gotta get back to that time.
Wait, when you get down to the car wash.
Oh, yeah, well, no, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
Grandma, great-grandpa, say you got to save face.
Yes,
Y'all
right.
know what I mean? Yeah, well, I'll tell you what.
Uh-huh.
Down to the car wash.
You out there.
On Saturday morning evening, and your partner that didn't meet you, who cruised on by you, saw the purple hands, he out there. When you step up there, man, what you doing out here? The purple hands, I saw him when he had you. You ain't in jail. Listen here, you see it here. Now it's time to gain back some respect.
Yes.
Now it's time. You unswallow, you unspit, now it's time to save your face.
All right.
You see me here, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well,
I ain't hearing it.
you see me go to jail, he ain't get no ticket. You see me here, and you know what? You should have heard what I told you.
I cuss him
I
out.
cuss his mama
What
out.
you say?
Same face.
Yeah.
I cuss his daddy out.
Everybody.
You know what? He got an old preacher. I cuss that preacher out too.
Yeah.
You see me standing right here?
Uh-huh.
He ain't did a thing to me, but you know what you say in the face?
Yeah.
You're making yourself feel better.
He ain't
And
no
then you tell your partner, remember now, you ain't me. So don't you try that.
That's right.
Because you ain't me. He might be scared of me. He ain't scared of you. So don't you try doing that. Don't you try cussing him out.
He ain't know the police ain't been there.
He had no idea.
No.
He didn't know the police was not there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you save face.
Yeah.
You got to do that. Make you feel good about yourself sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes only you can look in the mirror and feel good about yourself.
All right.
So when you're undone, listen here. This is an apron.
Apron,
Great grandma had 3 frocks.
dresses.
Bless her soul. Live with us, because we ain't gonna let no nursing home like the folks do now.
We don't do that.
No nursing home. No. So look here. 1 frock, wear around the house. 1 frock, this is truth there. And wear it to the doctor, or to the store. Other frock, the best one.
Uh-huh.
Keep them for church.
Yeah.
That frock ain't come off the rack. It ain't come off the nail, because it's been here on the nail.
Uh-huh.
Until time to go to church.
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. So that's why she always wore an apron. And this apron represents the hard work that our parents had to wear. Head rag.
Yes.
It's be sophisticated.
Uh-huh.
It's a hairstyle.
Yes.
Lots of live in Africa about 3 times. And we supposed to go there end of this year. I'm supposed to go to Africa.
All right.
But over in Africa, this, if you see the ladies, and some of you scholars probably know, if this knot is tied to the right, that means that she's married. If this knot is tied to the left, that means she's a widow or she's single.
All right.
Now, in Gullah Geechee land where we come from,
Down yonder.
down yonder piece, if you see this knot tied in the back, we got one little gal there, that dancing gal.
Yeah.
She's spoken for.
She got
Now, if you see it tied in the center right here,
Yeah.
like the gals back here,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
We looking.
Now, if you notice, mine is what they say tricks in between. I'm tired of looking, and I'm just confused.
She confused too. Now, Magic. Now, look here, I heard you talking about Master. Now, you just don't talk about Master any kind of way. Because, you know, Master been good to we. Because Master been give us something to eat. He give us something to eat. He did that. Master been give us something to eat. And you know one thing, yeah? Every now and then we want to go to the grocery store, us women folks, and we always take the men with us, because you know they got the money, and you know they got the card in the pocket. Well, you know they going to pay for the stuff. We just get to the register, and me, myself, when I had a husband, I used to put my stuff on the register, and I just step back. You know, not that I didn't have no money, but I step back, because I want my husband to take his place. You know, because sometimes, you know, he want to be in control, you want to be in the front, you know. I let him have that. But I always step back. I say, you want to be in, I put about $200 or $300 worth of stuff on the counter there, and I wait for him to pay for it. And sometimes he just look at me and say, you ain't got no money. I said, no, you got them. And I just walk off like this shit and look cute, you know. And then he just pay for all the things, and then we'll deal with it when we get back in the car. But you know what? Every time then you want a good piece of meat. So Daniel's a slave. He's working on the outside of Master's house. So Master says to him, hey, boy, I ain't going into town now, and I ain't want nobody to go up in there. Now, you don't tell Sambo, don't let nobody go up in the house there now, boy. You hear what I said? And he said, yes, sir. I ain't going to let nobody in there. So, no, Master, ain't nobody going up in there. So he goes, and he said, well, I said, every now and then Daniel started thinking to himself, he said, now, you look again now. Master got some good meat up in the house there. You know, he was thinking in his mind, you know, he was thinking about that thing. So he says he do like us. He started thinking about that red meat, how we women folk go in the store and stick our finger in them. And we just do it every time we go in there, hamburger and all them things, the sticking thing. We put our finger in there and watch the meat bounce back up. I guess that's what we do. I do them every time I go there. But anyway, Daniel started thinking about that pretty red meat in there, and Daniel says, you know one thing, yeah? I going up in the Master's house, and I gonna get me a good piece of meat, because I want a good piece. But wait a minute now, y'all done mess up, because I can read y'all mind. He was not thieving, and he was not stealing, because Margie just said it was surviving. So, Amber, one thing when you go get the meat now, well, where sinners go when they mess up?
They go to hell.
They go where?
To hell.
Oh, Lord, where sinner gone? Oh, Lord, sinner gone to hell now. Move there, you moving. Move there, you moving. Move there, you moving. Move there, you moving. Shout there, you shout. Shout there, you shouting. Rock there, you rock. Rock there, you rock. Do the eagle wing. Do the eagle wing. On your other side. On your other side. Oh, where's sinner gone? Oh, Lord, sinner gone to hell now. Move there, you move. Move there, you move. Move there, you move. Move there, you move. Woo! All right. Now look here now, Mash. I done look round here, and I done way up in the ginger. Way up in the ginger, ain't it? Yeah, oh, but ginger. We one way or nothing. But Mash, everywhere I go, I see some of we. And some are as dark as 10 midnight, like Maggie said now, you know, and some are little chestnut brown and stuff like that. And look at some are dark as midnight. But Maggie, how come us look like us is? We look the way we look because we're black. Yes, we are black. So what if I am a black woman? Is it a disease? Well, it is. I sure hope that it's catchy. Come on, yeah. So what they need to do with us? They need to pull us in the bottle, label us, and sprinkle over all of the men and women. Come on, who work to die, live to cry, or either one of us. So what if I am a black woman?
What you say?
Is it a crime? Well, arrest me. Because I am smart, and I'm still learning.
Yes.
And you black men know that we black women can be hateful.
You better
so
say
I like to work because I like to eat, feed, clothe, house, me, mine, and yours, like we've been doing for the past 300 years.
Oh, yes.
So what if I am a black woman?
What?
Is it insane? Well, commit me because I want truth, not lies, pleasure, not pain, sunshine, not rain. And as I said earlier, I'm looking for a man and not a child. So what if I am a black woman? Is it a sin? Well, pray for me and pray for yourself. Because if you don't like being in a color, we are midnight black. We are chestnut brown. Cocoa dip, big lip, big hip, big breasted and beautiful. All at the same time.
What you say?
So what if I am a black woman? I got the same rights as you. I've worked with them, died with them, laid with them, and lied with them on every plantation.
What you say?
From Alabama to Boston and back. So what if I am a black woman? I love you.
Yeah.
And I want you to love me
What
too.
you say?
Because I am as I've always been. Near you. Close to you.
Yeah.
Beside you.
Yeah.
Caring, giving, and sharing.
Yeah.
You're a black woman for over 300 years. Love us.
Yeah. Now look here. We've been doing some special thing. 2015, we've been in Philly. We was up yonder in Philly, and they had guests some minutes like, cause you know who been there? Any of y'all know who been there? Well, the Pope been there, and we've been up there in the top roof yonder, in the top up yonder. Yeah, we was in there. I got my little paper, cause we had, and I can prove it to you, cause we had a little man following us around there, and I been get scared, you know. And I said, well, everywhere we go, the man, and right there, that was our what manager, secretary, security. I said, okay, you know I get you. I can't say that word, but you know what I'm saying? And I said, I'm a try. I go into the bathroom, you know, because, you know, I go in the tender my business, you pay my water bill and stuff like that. I go in the bathroom, open the door, and I said, now, if this man follow me to the bathroom, he come in here, gonna be trouble in you. But guess what? He come and stand by the door till I get through. I said, I'm glad I eat them beans last night. But you know one thing, yeah? We had minutes like this, yeah. Then they break them down here, and they break them down here. I said, I can do that, yeah. We can do the chair. And the song was Blow Gaber. You know one thing, yeah? Jesus ain't coming back down your nails no more. You know why? No, ask me why. I'm going to tell you why. Because they ain't been treat them good when they been here. Blow Gaber. Blow Gaber. Blow Gaber. Blow Gaber. Go tell everybody it's Judgment Day. We gotta leave. We gotta go. Go tell my mother, my father too. Go tell my sister, my brother too. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Go tell everybody it's Judgment Day. We gotta leave. We gotta go. Go tell my mother, my father too. Go tell my sister, my brother too. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Go tell everybody it's Judgment Day. We gotta leave. We gotta go. Woo! All right. Come on, Lex.
Well, at this time here, we're going to show you a little bit of our herbal practices, and then we're going to give you something that we taught Hollywood. And so pay attention, each of you can participate. So we believe in the root doctor, which is a real doctor from the plantation that used the herbs and the roots to help heal the body. Then we also have the root worker. That's the mystical side. We believe very heavily in our ancestors. As a boy many years ago in the 60s, I had to talk to my dead grandmother because from the other side, there can be healing remedy just by me talking to her. And after being here in Virginia, the eyes of the ancestors that's on this beautiful monument, we wanted to be here. We travel over 9 hours to get here. But the first sight, we like you guys, but we wanted to go to the monument first. And then those eyes of the ancestors that sit there when the sun is just right. So we're going to give you a little bit of our cultural ways. These are some root. They used to make root beer out of it, and it was a sassafras root, but we use it for herbal medicine. And this is what we have here, some moss, and it's a Spanish moss, and this is also some Georgia ball moss. You can use this for high blood pressure, put it in your shoe. We have any married couples here? Raise your hand if you're with your husband. Okay, you're here with your wife. Okay, well, you just here with your girlfriend or boyfriend and your wife and husband at home. Raise your hand. All right. We got one hand. We always get somebody. But this also we use it for herbal medicine, believe it or not. Long before it was Viagra, it was the Spanish moss, believe it or not. Now we're going to give you that polyrhythmic beat. This is what we taught Hollywood. You know the Roots movie that came out? We did the new version in 2016. We don't have the African drums because they banned the drums. Carolina first, Georgia, Virginia, and others followed. So we don't have the African drums. We give it to you pure from the plantation. So with the Hollywood movie Roots, we're going to teach you this polyrhythmic beat, which came from Africa. The ring shout. This is deep to us. We waited several years in the middle of a pandemic to be here because of this monument dedicated to those ancestors of the ring shout. So thank you, committee, for allowing us to be here. Traveling the world is fine, but this is the premier spot for any monument in the world, and we have traveled. So thank you, Virginia. This is the polyrhythmic beat. It goes like this that came from Africa. Follow me? It goes like this. Hold those hands up. Listen, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, the stick man, the stick man. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, the washboard. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you notice, it's all the same beat. If you notice, it's all the same beat. And as we say when we travel, can you believe it? Hollywood paid us to teach them that. Thank you.
Now look here. This here ain't not no shout song here. This here one of them Friday evening. You know how we done come out of slavery now and us getting paid. You know, us making a little money. But when you look at your check and you about $2.33 short. You know how it is. You know they write your check and they done mess up some of your hours and you want your money. So you say, I want my money, they want it right now. And y'all know what happened in the nighttime with the moon, where they do the moon shine. That way do, yeah, moon shine. Well, you know you mad about your money, so you grab that ball and you get that moon what? Moon shine, and you start drinking and you know you're feeling a little good. I want my money and I want it right now. I ain't playing, I want it now. But now, moral to the story here, we gonna do the buzzard low. Okay, moral to the story is that the turkey buzzard, when they find dead prey on the road, scoops down, tastes the eye to prey, and if it's not good, ain't nobody get none of that. Now the moral to the story, when we were, our ancestors, they were burying their dead, they ain't had no elaborate casket. Now the Caucasian did, but they had to bury their dead, they had to make a rock box and put them in there, put them in that rock box, set them overnight on a cooling board, and then they bury them the next morning. But now, but one thing, sometimes they used to mess up the measurement. So they had this tall man, big old man tall, and they make the casket, they build it a little bit too short. So they been wondering what to do. So they asked the old man named Uncle Jim down the road from me and say, Uncle Jim, what are we gonna do about this man, his leg big in the casket, long in the casket? He said, ain't but one thing, saw him off, chuck him up in there, because he ain't gonna use him no more anyhow. So you might as well throw me anywhere in that old field. Throw me anywhere in that old field. Throw me anywhere in that old field. All right. That's the buzzard loaf. All right.
we really can't do, but we're gonna close with, and Margaret's gonna introduce our closing scene, and you all get the cameras out. Promise you won't be disappointed. Here's the mic right there.
Harry Tubman, our unplanned trip, what we doing?
He said 8 minutes.
You have to do that. He doing
All right.
Paul and Jane.
Yes, we're closing. We have to close.
So, Harry Tubman.
Harry Tubman.
Okay.
We had the good fortune to visit the church that Harriet Tubman worshiped in when we did a 3-day tour over in Canada. Now, she's got a church in upstate New York, but we passed by that when we've been up in Canada. History relates, Harriet took between 300 and 500 enslaved people to freedom. Then I heard another report said 700. So listen here, Harriet just took a whole lot of us to freedom. Somebody said Harriet, and I wasn't there, but I heard that it was written that Harriet said, I might have would have taken more than that if they had known they was slaves, but they didn't know they were slaves. But anyway, they done wrote some songs about Harriet. They did some poems about Harriet. They did the movies about Harriet. Well, we can't do anything, but we got a little gal here that like to dance. She's gonna do a praise dance, and we're gonna honor Harriet with that. Now, we were auditioning, we gotta go, for orchestra, and Tracy K. Smith, who was the poet laureate of the time before the pandemic, came down yonder to Georgia because of the genuine I Love You and the soulful singing of the song Wade in the Water. Tracy K. Smith went back to New York City, wrote a book of poems entitled Wade in the Water, dedicated it to the little old Geechee Gullah ring shop. Now, Wade in the Water is a hymn. She gonna do that dance. Show them what you got. Cause they tell me if you started with Harriet, you had to go all the way. Don't y'all leave. It ain't real. But this is a replica of what Harriet had when you started that journey with her. One picture showed her with a shotgun. Y'all know that ain't true. You couldn't run through the swamp with a shotgun. But she had this is a replica, trusted friend, and don't y'all leave. Trusted friend, because we ain't gonna shoot nobody, but that's a trusted friend that she took with her when she went through the swamp.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Come on, Harry, you better dance.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, you believe I've been redeemed. God's gonna trouble the water. You are going down to the Jordan stream. God's gonna trouble the water. You know it's not in the water, the water was cold. God's gonna trouble the water. You know it chilled my body, but not my soul. God's gonna trouble the water. You are the way.
Come on, Harry.
In the water. Oh, way. Hey, in the water. Children, way. In the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Okay. Now we just had a season.
Tell about the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. We just had a season. We set aside a whole day. It was called Freedom Night. And the reason we sing the song is this. All day, Jonathan Day. There were some folks who should have left at the same day. We sing all day, Jonathan Day. All day, Jonathan Day. All day, Jonathan Day.
am another man and a brother.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Everybody clap.
I'm going to turn it back into the hands of the officials. Hopefully next time we come back we have one more new piece. They haven't perfected yet, but it's the Igbo's landing where they drowned themselves. Beyonce made it go even more international. Igbo, Nigeria, the water spirit brought us more million, more India. The water spirit will take us out. More million, divine divine. More million, divine divine.
We just don't have the time today, but Marjorie Washington wrote a poem called Unplanned Trip. And it was an unplanned trip. The question was always asked, what did your foreparents bring with you from Mother Africa? And she actually went home and penned a poem to that very same title. And Marcia was the little girl that did the buffalo. She's the one that says, they didn't bring nothing because it's an unplanned trip.
Yes.
We live in a county called McIntosh County, in a city called Darien, Georgia. And we're surrounded by plantations. One of those plantations, there was a fellow by the name of Pierce Butler, maybe you've read about him. And he and his brother John had 900 enslaved people on that plantation. Pierce had been a scoundrel, squandered his wealth. And I'm going to condense this story, but he squandered his wealth. And then what Pierce had to do was liquidate some of his assets. He had 450. So you know who the assets that he had to liquidate? Enslaved people. So there was not a sale in McIntosh County where we live. But I want you to know, the largest slave trade on the North American continent, if we got in a hurry, we could walk to the place that housed those slaves. Well, it started on February the 28th. Look here, there was a sign went out, slave trade, sale. We're gonna do it in Savannah, Georgia. We had no paved roads. We had a steamship. We're talking about 1859. We had steamship and railroads. Listen here. On February 28th, they started packing up our ancestors, taking them to Savannah, Georgia. Can you imagine what it must have been like when Mama was gone this day? And the ship come back the next day and you thought, oh, I'm going to see Mama again. But they left you, but they took your daddy and your brothers, because he had to have 20 of them left to take care of him. He couldn't take care of himself. Finally, they got them all down yonder to Savannah, Georgia, y'all. They were they didn't have no place to put them. So they were cattle stalls from a racetrack. They put our ancestors, y'all, in a cattle stall from a racetrack. And the word had went out and said, look at here, gonna be a slave sale. They came from New York City. Some of them probably came from Virginia. They came from New York. They came from all over. 28th of March. Well, I'm sorry, February. Guess what happened? Time to start the sale. March the 3rd. That date is very significant. March the 3rd. Yeah, March the 3rd. Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen here. On March the 3rd, listen here. They hit him behind the knee, put him to sea. Look at here. You strong, Sambo? Stretch the lips hard. Gotta see what we gonna buy. But listen here. March the 3rd came. That's the date of the sale. They done bring all our ancestors down to Savannah, Georgia. And it starts raining. They had to move them inside. There was an icy rain that fell in Savannah, Georgia for 3 days until the last enslaved person was sold. And then the clouds closed up, stopped raining. It is from that day to this day called the weeping time, because the angels in glory were not satisfied, and they were shedding tears for our ancestors, y'all. So on March the 3rd, Griffin will probably be there. They will do a commemoration at the grounds. That's where that cow thing was. And he'll probably be there. That's why we're leaving, so that Griffin can get back to be there to witness this commemoration. But the largest, can you imagine, slave trade on the North American continent came from our community where we live, and it came from the island called Butler's Island. Can you imagine? My name is Margie Butler Washington. God bless you. God bless you.
Yes.